into the end zone, touchdown, and Jacksonville strikes first.
All right, Fred Taylor joins us as he does every Monday.
The airing of grievances continues.
Yeah, Fred, I have a question for you, and I'm not trying to throw you under the bus with anyone. You don't have to be, but like if you were down there and we'll just take you to 1999, I guess, and you and Tom Coughlin and the boys are having a great year, Freddie, and it's early in the year, and you've got a 3-point lead, and coach says, yeah, it's a 4th and 1.5 from our 30, we're going for it. Would you have like fainted on the spot or?
You know, as a player in that moment, you know, you buckle up and you try to go get the first down. You know, we always believe we can do more than we really can out there sometimes, especially when you're in the moment, adrenaline, all that different stuff. As a spectator, you know, you question the situation. And we always talk about situational football. There was a moment, it was 4th and 1, Dolphins territory around the 30. You're up 3, 15 minutes to play, and you don't get it. Your defense came out and played amazing, stopped the Dolphins, and you were bailed out by a missed field goal. So it almost seemed like no harm, no foul. Like what Doug said in the interview, in the post-game interview in regards to Travis Etienne. This is something I hope he learns and grows from. I think it also applies to coaches as well. Doug, he's always had an aggressive nature. Thankfully, that particular play itself, it did not hurt the team. I would say it gave the team momentum. The backbreaker ultimately was the Travis Etienne fumble. Mm-hmm. That's sort of kind of the play that deflates you as a team. Instead of going up 24-7, the score is now 17-14.
Right.
17-14, and that just changes everything. So it's a lot to learn from in this game, man. I think you highlight the big plays and the big plays against, you know, big plays that didn't happen. There was an overthrow to Tyreek early against double coverage. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Bigsby could have had a 98-yard touchdown run. So it was a lot of good stuff. We got a chance to see Brian Thomas Jr. beat former Jaguars Jalen Ramsey and got a big pass interference there. Should have been a touchdown. A little bit underthrown. That's the reason for the draw and pass interference. But it was so much stuff out there. And you look at this team and say, all right, is this the team that we saw at the beginning of the year last year, or is this the team that kind of faltered towards the back end of the season a year ago? But I'm optimistic, as I always am, about my Jaguars. So I saw a lot of good stuff out there. Starting with the defense, man, big question mark. Yeah. They played well, and the other big question mark was answered with the run game. So if you look at the transition from a year ago, the defense, they went out there and played well, minus that one big play right there, the 80-yarder to Tyreek, and then the other two big plays, the 63-yarder to Waddle. So if you take away those two big explosives, which are part of the game, but if you take them away, I mean, they really dominate this Dolphins team.
Checked a lot of boxes to lose a game. That's always tough. It's tough to swallow when you check so many of the boxes that you think you need to check to win.
Freebies.
Yeah,
right, correct. Like as Trevor said, you know, we gave it away. There are no freebies, you know, in the NFL.
Right.
You can look at it and say, well, we gave it away, and it makes you feel better. But you know, you got to credit the other team too. They dialed up those plays. They went and they executed those two big plays. On the other hand, we didn't necessarily defend them as well. And then on the flip side, you practice to strip the ball out. And Travis, for whatever reason, didn't finish through the goal line with the ball secured, and it was very costly. So teams go out there and they practice hard for an entire offseason and training camp to come out here and make those type of plays, which help you win football games. So I wouldn't say it was a giveaway, although that's the optimistic way to look at it, I guess, if any. But at the very end of it, there are no freebies in this league. They all count, and they come back to haunt you at certain points in the season.
You know, Fred, ETN didn't fumble last year, and the Holland guy made a great play on that ball. He punched it. I mean, hit it perfectly, right? So, but I was just curious, like, I expect him to. I expect 100% he'll bounce back. But my question to you is, because I don't remember, but I'm sure you do more so. What is there one fumble from your career that stands out that bothers you more than any other?
Yeah, see.
Because we've looked up the fumbling. You weren't much of a fumbler either, but was there one at Florida or one with the Jags
because it got to bounce back from his, like the FSU game probably, right? Yeah.
I was definitely going to highlight those. Actually, it was 2 in that game.
Yeah.
The biggest game of the moment. Here we are. I'm a senior.
Yeah.
Everything's on the line. I feel like, hey, I got to play well this game in order to go to the next level. And it's the interstate rivalry. It's in the swamp. And I had 2 fumbles early in that game. Fortunately, I was able to bounce back.
And how?
Yeah, so, I mean, that one still does stand out because it makes the story of overcoming, adversity and persevering and all that stuff. So that one stands out the most. But in the NFL, you hated fumbling anytime. They all felt equally, balanced or the same. I believe I've never fumbled through the end zone, though.
Okay. Yeah, that one stings.
I don't recall ever fumbling.
The Dolphins got lucky. It's a well-timed stroke of luck. They try that punch every time. Most of the time they'll get the shoulder pad or the forearm or somewhere, but he hit it dead square, man, like he was at the arcade playing the how hard can you punch game. I mean, he just hit it dead in the middle, man. Ugh.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, man, because Trav is going to have an amazing year, I believe. But, you gotta hold on to it no matter how you carve it up.
Tank was good yesterday, Fred. I mean, all that we saw from Tank and got you excited in the preseason then and more. I mean, ran the ball hard and effective and productively yesterday.
Yeah, Tank, out of the gate, Tank ran really well, very hard. It made me question. I'm like, hey, what's going on? When he came out and started the second half, I'm like, okay, let me keep an eye on that. Right there is ETN a bit banged up. But, Tank, it's good to see Tank bounce back from a year ago, in which you would think the team lost confidence in him because he put the ball on the ground a few times. But in this particular game, I already talked about he had an opportunity to take that one off the goal line, almost 98.
Tell us about that from your perspective, because I think that's interesting. That's the first thing you said about him. So he kind of took on the guy down the field instead of like making a cut and using speed and getting.
I mean, it was just a really good. It was a good open field. The guy really didn't necessarily tackle him. He slowed him down.
Okay.
Right? And the cavalry was able to catch up to him. So if it had been a cleaner cut, which was just a good play by the defender, really still a good cut by Tank, but a better play by the defender, he was able to kind of slow him down a little bit, and the cavalry was able to catch up with Tank and stop the run right there. I believe it ended up being like a 26-yard run or something like that. So. But I thought it was going to be a house call, and I was like, oh, this is about to be the longest-running team history. Because I pay attention to going to break my record.
Is 90? Is it 90? That's a long way.
90 is playoff.
Yeah, that's
so it doesn't count for
80 for regular season.
Yeah, my 80 was regular season, but I believe Mojo had one longer, or either
Leonard had a 90-yarder.
Fournette.
Yeah,
Fournette.
Against Pittsburgh, he went 90, remember?
Fournette went crazy on that one. So these records will be broken. But again, hopefully I can be on the cheering end when they're broken. We don't need to see Derrick Henry doing 90 against us. We need to see our guys doing 90. But Tank looks good out there. He ran strong. He ran downhill. He broke arm tackles. He looked quick. And he did everything that they asked of him.
I think it's all important now. I mean, what it's going to define is how do you bounce back from this? They didn't bounce back in game. You got to bounce back with a home game against Cleveland, or you're just going to be there are a lot of teams in the NFL that can play and did play even yesterday, like the Jaguars, which is hang around in a game, even lead it for a while, but not have that ability to close it at the end. And it's what doomed us down the stretch last year, and we got to hope it doesn't doom us this year.
Fred, take me to this end of the game. There's 4 minutes to go. Jacksonville gets the ball. We've had some adversity, which you're going to get in NFL games, right? We have a 14-point swing. We had the fumble, and then Cheetah goes 80, and you're like, oh, gosh, and then the Dolphins tie it up. But, all right, look, we're on the road, 17 all. Offense, here we go. Let's dink and dunk our way down the field, chew up some clock, get a field goal, and get the heck out of here with a win. We go 3 and out. We kick it to them, and then they do exactly what we should have done. What's missing there? What we run up the middle for nothing and we get 2 sacks. Ugh.
Yeah, that's you just said it all.
Mm-hmm.
I think prior to that, you have a Christian Kirk missed time
Mm-hmm.
3rd and 5 ball, which
Mm-hmm.
I thought would have been a decent play if he had timed it right there. But those back-to-back sacks hurt.
Yeah.
Those hurt, and those are the plays you can't have, right? Especially at that particular moment in the game.
Right.
So really, those were the highlights. There's no secret to it. The Dolphins went out there and they made the plays in crunch time, and from a defensive standpoint, by getting those sacks, and on the flip side, defense would just. They just didn't close out. The Dolphins made enough plays to go down, put themselves in field goal position to get the game-winning field goal and get out of there with the victory. So, still, so much encouraging stuff out there, especially from the rookie from Tank. There was a big 3rd and 15. Trayvon sacked Tua.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to see Eric Armstead out there with a big 3rd down sack. So, those are some encouraging plays. Gabe Davis coming back to catch a few passes there after that big 3rd down drop he had. Man, it's just some really encouraging plays out there. It's first game.
Yeah.
You want to see them win it because you felt that
Sure.
they could have, especially with the start going up 14-0. But just looking at with the questions that we all had in the offseason, the questions that they had going into the draft, free agency, I think they answered a lot of those questions in terms of personnel, getting better on defense. The running game looked much better yesterday. Now you got to find a way to go out there and finish these games the way you know how.
Yeah, home against Cleveland next week. Fred, just one last thing before we let you go. Mertz or Lagway, Saturday in the Swamp. Who do you trot out QB1?
Hey, listen, man. It's so tough because Mertz. You look at the quality of competition he played against in that the Hurricanes team,
Mm-hmm.
which looks like the real deal. I tell you, Cam Ward, his play has been infectious.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of the team confidence is high. They're rallying and playing around him. So I think the Canes. It would seem that they're back.
Yeah.
They didn't play much this week in terms of the competition they played in FAMU, but they beat them, really convincingly, which would tell you the Canes are back, I believe, in a sense. But Lagway this past week against Stanford, it'd be a rookie second game.
Looks pretty special.
That's tough. So to go out there and launch those bombs and connect with those guys the way he did, it says, all right, he has potential. I like Mertz a lot, man. I expected him to run the ball a bit more against the Hurricanes, but they didn't really have it by design, which was shocking to me. So, I don't know. The coaches got a decision to make. Maybe they can do a little Doug and Noah, a little rotation there, so we can keep them off guard. But it's good to have 2 quarterbacks that's capable.
Let me tell you something, Freddie T. This kid is so special. You're going to be getting him on the Pivot podcast very soon. You hear me? That's how good DJ Lagway.
We've talked to their camp a while ago.
Hey, Mia here, and thanks so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars. For even more coverage of the Big Cats, be sure to subscribe to 1010XL Jaguars.